Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to build myself a Ryzen system. I will be using a few old parts as well as new parts in this build. For example, I will be using the same old 950 graphic card, which I will upgrade later on, and my same old 1 TB hard drive, and later on I will add an SSD as well. So for the CPU I'm going with the Ryzen 5 1600. I don't plan on overclocking it for now, so I'll use the stock cooler on it. And for the motherboard I'm going with the Gigabyte AB350 Gaming 3 motherboard. It's a very good motherboard and you get RGB lighting on it. For the RAM I'm going with the HyperX Predator 3200 MHz 16 GB kit. For the graphic card I'm going with the same old GTX 950. We'll upgrade this in a month or two. For the hard drive, my old 1 TB hard drive. And for the power supply I'm going with the Corsair VS550 power supply. This is also from the old system. So let's get started. For all you guys who like RGB lighting, I guess you guys will like this board, as it comes with one pre-installed RGB strip. You can also connect your external RGB strip to this board directly via the two headers that it has, and control it via the RGB Fusion app on the computer. This is my first AMD build. Before this I always had an Intel system, and I wanted to buy an Intel system until Ryzen came out. I was like, I'm gonna build a Ryzen system. Intel is still very expensive. I mean, the i5, the prices have not gone down at all. So yeah, once the Ryzen 5 series came out, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna build a Ryzen 5 system. So now let's start by placing the CPU into the CPU socket. You need to match the triangle on the CPU as well as on the socket, and place the CPU gently into the socket and lock it. Now here we need to take off the mounting bracket, as we don't need it. We will only need the back plate to mount our CPU cooler on it. Right now I'm going to use the stock CPU cooler, as I don't plan on overclocking it anytime soon, but once when I decide on overclocking, that's when I might have to get a aftermarket CPU cooler. The CPU cooler comes with pre-applied thermal paste, but I will be using this Arctic Silver 5 thermal paste that I have. Now let's install the CPU cooler. You need to line up the screws on the cooler with the backplate, and then you need to tighten up the screws little by little, all 4 of them. Now you need to connect the cooler fan, the CPU cooler fan, to the motherboard. It will be written as CPU fan on the motherboard, so you need to plug it in there. Now let's install the RAM. For the RAM I chose the HyperX Predator series RAM. It is a 3200 MHz RAM. I have my fingers crossed on this. Let's hope that it works, not at 3200 but at least at 3000 MHz. So you need to install the RAMs in the same color RAM slots, and so what you need to do is you need to open up the lock and then just press till you hear a click, When you hear a click, that means it's locked. Now let's install the backplate into the cabinet. Actually, this is a pretty decent looking backplate compared to what I have been dealing with on the Intel platform. You need to align it properly with the cutting on the cabinet and just press hard till it fits into place. Now we need to install the motherboard into the cabinet. So this is a tight fit, but it fits into the cabinet very well. So you need to align it with the back plate, and that's it. Now we need to take the screws that came with the cabinet and screw the motherboard in place. There are 6 screws that you will have to use. 2 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, and 2 at the top. One more thing, before installing the motherboard into the cabinet, you need to check if you need extra motherboard standoffs to be installed onto the cabinet. If you need extra, then install them, and if there are extra standoffs that don't match the holes on the motherboard, just take them off. Now let's install the graphic card. So for this you need to see how many expansion slots does it take, and accordingly you need to make room for the graphic card. This graphic card needs 2 expansion slots, so you need to break off those covers at the back. Now you need to align the graphic card well on the PCIe Express slot and press down on it. Now let's install the power supply. You need to align it with the cutout and match it with the holes that are available for the screws. Now let's tighten the screws. You have to tighten like 4 screws, and that's all, and we are done with the power supply. Now let's install the hard drive. I just have this 1 terabyte hard drive, so I will just install that. If you have a SSD, you can install that as well. Let's connect the power cable to the hard drive, and now let's connect the SATA cable. Now let's start routing all the cables through the cutouts. So first let's put in the power cable for the motherboard. Now the power cable for the GPU. It will be mentioned on the cables which power cable is for what. And now the hard drive SATA cable. And now the power cable for the CPU. Now let's route in the cables coming in from the front panel, the USB 3.0, the USB 2.0, the power, reset, and all the LED cables coming in from the front panel. All those small cables coming in from the front panel, the power cable, the reset cable, those are pain to arrange on the motherboard, but luckily with this board you get this connector called the G connector, through which you can arrange all your cables coming in from the front panel into that, and then you put it onto the motherboard, which is quite easy and convenient. Now let's connect the power cable to the motherboard first. Now let's connect the CPU power cable. Now the power cable for the GPU. Now the HD audio coming in from the front panel. Now the USB 2.0 cable coming in from the front panel of the cabinet. Now the USB 3.0 coming in from the front panel again. And now the G connector, which has all the power button, reset button, everything arranged into it. This is very convenient actually, because I remember struggling with connecting all those cables onto my old motherboard. It was just a pain. Now let's connect the SATA cable coming from the hard drive. This is how the cable management looks like at the back. Actually, since it has that PSU shroud, I have pushed in all the extra cables over there, so that is very convenient. And as you can see, there are very less cables on the back hanging out, so it will be easier to put on the back cover. Let's see if I can put this back cover in one go. Okay, sorry about this, no audio in this, as my DSLR was not capturing the audio. Okay, now let's hit the power button and see if everything works fine. Okay, CPU fan spinning, case fan spinning, LED strip on the motherboard is on. Ooh, what the hell was that? Oh, the case fan LEDs are going on and off. I don't know why. As you can see, Windows is loading over there, so I guess everything is working fine. So this was a successful build. Yes, I know, I have to change the GPU and add an SSD to get better performance out of the system, which I will do in a month or so. So for now I will have to do with the 950 that I have. This is the first time that I made a video on building a computer, and I know it didn't come out that great. So if I ever do it again, I will try my best to do better. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike button. Peace.